Hello, beautiful people. I'm Margot. For those of you that are new here, welcome, welcome. Please do like and subscribe. For those of you who are returning seasoned subscribers, well, mia familia, here we are. Today's video is really inspired by what to do with my fruit that's just not that fresh anymore. I buy fruit on a weekly basis. We use it for snacks. We use it for salad. I might even eat some of it when I'm bored, but then I do land up with that excess. So this video is really about what you can do with oranges. What I love is a fresh orange muffin. However, here's a disclaimer. These are not low fat, guys, by any means of the imagination. Not low fat. They do contain oil. They are, however, dairy free, which is great for your skin, great for your sinuses. We all know how I feel about dairy, so there's definitely no milk in my recipe. I actually just use water. So let's get into it. Let me just locate my 2 oranges from the fruit bowl. 2 oranges. What I will do is I will first start by getting the zest off of these 2 oranges. Hopefully this time without grating my finger. I had a horrible injury last week that it took me some time to recover from because I actually took off the skin on my fingers, but I was actually doing garlic at that point, which is a lot smaller. Alright, so I've got the zest of 2 oranges, which is so citrusy. Oranges are obviously really great to boost your immune system as we're going into winter and through the winter months. So I really do love oranges. My mom would kill me if she watched this video because I'm supposed to use a chopping board. Just a second, Mummy, in case you're watching. Okay, got my chopping board. Here we go. Guys, just a quick tip. Make sure that you don't ever bake the pips or the seeds, pips really, of oranges or lemons in your baking. If you bite into a chunk of muffin that's got a pip in or a seed, what are they? Pips or seeds? Anyway. It is so bitter. It is so bitter. There's nothing more disgusting than that taste, and it literally stays in your mouth for the entire day. So I always make sure that I get that I catch the pips or the seeds. So I squeeze I squeeze the fresh orange juice because that's obviously what you're using to flavor the muffins. Get rid of this just to make space. My dry ingredients are a cup and 3/4 of cake flour. Then I've put in 5 milliliters of baking powder, which is then the raising agent. So I've sifted my dry ingredients completely. What I do like to use, instead of plain salt in my baking, I do like using this roasted garlic and lemon salt. It just gives you a bit of a contrast. I just like the contrast in flavor. It just gives me something other than plain salt. Occasionally, as you are eating the muffin, you'll come across a little garlic or a little herb. It just gives you an unexpected depth of flavor, which I think is really always necessary and required in one's baking. Then I've only used 1 egg. I know that people predominantly tend to bake with 2 eggs. I think in Portuguese culture they bake even with 4 eggs, which I think is really excessive. For my taste buds, it's excessive. All we really need the egg for is a binding agent. So in here, I've got my egg, I've got vanilla essence, and I've got 60 milliliters of oil. Alright, so the next step from here is then to combine my wet ingredients and my dry ingredients, and then I'm going to mix those up and then pour them into a giant muffin pan, because these are giant orange muffins that I'm making. Always remember, when you are baking and you're busy mixing up your batter, don't over mix your cake batter. It causes the gluten to stretch, and then the texture of your baked item when you cut it in half does not look right. You don't want to overstretch the gluten in your cake batter. I had already preheated the oven to 180 degrees, and then I have also sprayed the muffin pan with non-stick spray, and then I've obviously now gone and allocated cake dough to each little compartment. So now this goes in the oven. And I will set the timer for 25 minutes. The muffins are still in the oven, couple of minutes still to go. Let me give you a few baking tips while we wait. Guys, resist the urge to open the oven to see whether they're rising or not. If you do that in the first say 50% of your baking time, that's when you have the your cake batter rising. Then you open the oven, cold air comes in, then that happens. So just resist the urge. Rather peep through the oven to see whether they are rising or not. When you get to a point in your baking time where you're not sure whether they're actually ready or not, or they smell like they should be ready and they're looking like they're ready, but you're not really sure, you don't want to open the oven after the first, more than half of the first amount of baking time has lapsed. You can open the oven, but don't pull your entire baking tray out of the oven. Rather take a toothpick and stick it in. And if the toothpick comes out dry, it's ready. You can also use a knife. Poke it into the bottom and then pull it out. However, I rather use a toothpick than a knife, especially if you're doing something that you want to decorate. For example, if you're baking 24 cupcakes for your child's birthday, for school, or for the office, or for a bake sale, and you want to frost those cupcakes, then depending on the thickness of your frosting or the item that you're using to actually decorate, you might actually see that knife mark going through, which then really doesn't look pretty. So yes, rather use a toothpick or something really thin and super cylindrical that you can just stick in. If it pops out and it's dry, you know that your muffin, cake, bread, whatever you're baking is then ready. Okay, it smells amazing.